What's going on, guys? Brian with Level Up Reptiles. Today we're going to talk about this clutch that we're getting here in about a week and a half. I thought it'd be kind of cool to see, show you guys what exactly can come out of these eggs. Um, Today we're going to be using the World of Ball Pythons. It's a genetic tester for breeding. It's a good tool to use. Kind of see what's the potential of your pairing before you actually pair. And that's what we're going to get into today. But first, uh, we got 7 eggs. I only had 6 spots. So guess what I got to do this weekend? Got to cruise back to ARS to pick up another level. So I got one extra level than what I had. So our rack's getting taller. We're getting more space, which is cool. And we're going to keep building. If you do like this channel, if you do like the content, please do like and subscribe. Share with a friend. It really does help. I'm trying to level up everything between the ball pythons and also this little community that we're trying to create here to kind of get the word out, try to get more people involved. I like to put out information for the new owners, kind of do's and not to do's, and as well keep people interested in, keep the breeders interested in what's going on here as well. But your likes and subscribes and shares, they really do help. Now let's get into and see what we're gonna make with these babies. Okay, so here we are in the World of Ball Pythons, where you can get any genetics in for ball pythons before you actually pair them. It's a good way to check to make sure what you're pairing is ideal with what you're wanting to make. In this case, we're going to use our Mojave Pastel male and Aria, which is our Fire Pastel GHI ball python. And the eggs will be due here in about a week and a half, so it's kind of cool to, just show you guys what the potential is with some of them eggs that we're going to be getting. So the first ball python we can make, and the genetics is a 1 out of 32, except for the pastels, because I have double each parent has a copy of pastel, so I got twice the chance of hitting pastel. And the first one we're going to go through and look at that we can produce. I just want to show each gene by themselves first before you get into combos. So we're going to go right down the list with the first one being a normal. That's the first ball python I ever started with. I mean, even though there's not a crazy genetics running through a normal, right? Because there's none. It's a blank canvas. They do have their purpose in breeding, and it's a lot of good entry level ball python for a brand new keeper. And then let's move it along. Next up would be a pastel, which a pastel is basically a normal that yellows it out. It's got the same markings for the most part, but it just really yellows up the snake. And then we'll move on to Fire. Fire is another brightening gene. It doesn't really bring out the yellow like pastel does, but it is a brightening gene. It helps. A firefly is a combination of a pastel and a fire. So the pastel brings out the yellow, and the fire really brightens it. And it in the long term makes them look better as adults. Then we got the Mojave. Mojaves are really cool. They're part of the blue-eyed leucistic complex, along with the lessers and butters and Russo. Next year, with the breeding plans, I plan on breeding this Mojave to a butter female that I have to make the blue-eyed leucistics. It's a pure white snake with blue eyes. They're beautiful. But in this case, we paired him up with that Firefly GHI, and he can make some pretty cool combos with that as well. And then next up with a single gene would be the GHI. GHI is a really dark morph. It's pretty dark by itself, but if you combine that with some of these lightning genes like we talked about, it makes a pretty cool effect. GHI is really dark with really golden colors. It's pretty neat. GHI stands for gotta have it. And in a lot of cases, that is the case, that it is a ball python in the breeding world that you need to have. So the first two genetics, blending them together, is a fire and a GHI. And you can see what it does, what fire does to GHI. It takes a dark morph and really lightens it up. Makes it almost a 3-tone pattern. It is, it's really neat. Be pretty fortunate to grab one of those out of the eggs. The next one, which is one of my favorites, I'm saving the best one I like for last, but this is it is a cool morph, and I'm really hoping I hit it, which is a GHI Mojave. Now GHI Mojaves vary. This is kind of one that if there was a version to hit, this is the one I'd want to hit. There's clicking through the pictures here, and there's a few different variances, but they're pretty wicked looking. And then we can jump over to a Firefly. A Firefly consists of, like I was talking about earlier, a fire and a pastel. It takes that yellow from the pastel and with fire really intensifying it, makes it look pretty cool. They'll move over here to the snake we just talked about, the Firefly, and then if you put Mojave in it, it makes it look pretty good. You get the bright yellows and the lightening up with the fire, and then you throw the Mojave pattern on it, and it looks cool. Looks pretty good. And now we're gonna start getting into stuff with Super Pastel. And Super Pastel really blushes out the head. So this is just a Super Pastel by itself. See, the snake's really yellow, and a lot of times with Super Pastel, you'll get a lot of these white highlights along the back as well. Then we'll move on to the Super Pastel GHI Mojave. And it's pretty cool. I don't know if I like it better than, I don't think I like it better than just the regular GHI Mojave, but this is still a pretty cool version. Now this is a Superfly GHI, which is a Super Pastel with GHI in it. You can get a lot of these whites in with the Super Pastel once again, and then with the GHI really jumbling up the pattern on it. Looks pretty cool. And now the one I'm really looking forward to, which would be pretty sweet if we hit, would be a Firefly Mojave GHI. And that just looks spectacular. You got this nice stripe down the sides, a really dark background with almost oranges coming up from the sides. Pretty cool. It's pretty neat. I'd probably fall over backwards if one of those came out of the egg. But that wraps it up with the world of ball pythons. But once again, if you have any questions about what your pairing could make, you can literally put in anything, and it'll show you what the results will be. Now it'll give you the percentages of hitting that, but that's what you will the percentages of everything you'll hit and what you can and will do with that pairing. All right, guys, I hope you liked that video. I think it's neat. Hopefully you guys thought that was neat. Once again, if you have any questions about what you can possibly make with a pairing, jump over to that site. It's really helpful. But that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Brian, Level Up Reptiles. What level are you on?